Hello and welcome back to the Nice Metal production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to another album of the week. This, of course, is episode number 50, and wow, 50 episodes already. And this, of course, being the final album of the week of 2019. So, since, of course, this being the final one, it's, of course, is another album review led album of the week. So for this final one, and this being the final album review-led album of the week video for this year, because I don't know, like I said in the last one, I don't know if I will be doing these all the time. So today's pick is, of course, is another newer band. Now this band was formed sometime this year. This, of course, is Magnabolt, who, of course, are based out of Portland, Oregon, and again, don't know when they were formed. Here on the Metal Archives, there seems to be a question mark on when they were formed, but definitely it had been sometime this year, or it could have been last year, for all we know. But this, of course, is their first full-length album. I found this through, of course, Bandcamp. This, of course, was released on February 18th, 2019, so very early this year. But again, this was released only digitally, independent, of course. And again, I don't know if there is any physical release. If there is, it was probably at shows, maybe, was only sold. But still, even if there was, there should have been at least somewhere to probably get a copy of this. But here, can only probably get this on Bandcamp. Anyways, right now, the music is what matters. So again, this is their self-titled debut. Another really interesting part about this is that this was also mastered by none other than Joel Grine, who, of course, is from Portland, Oregon, and is, of course, is the mastermind behind, of course, Toxic Holocaust. Still one of today's most, still going thrash metal bands who are definitely a part of the scene when it was yet to become a thing again. Of course, the whole retro thrashing, or the new wave of thrash metal that came on in the mid part of the 2000s. But so being part of that definitely was very interesting of him being a part of this, and he definitely seemed to have had a good eye for this, because this is a solid power metal album from a solid power metal band that I hope that they at least still go on, because according to the Metal Archive, it seemed like they're on hold. Hopefully it ain't for too long, because this, again, is a solid album. This, of course, is 9 tracks, clocks in around 45 minutes and 42 seconds, and is a barrage of just power metal riffs, very crushing riffs for that matter, and everything just has a very cool feel to it. It's very much, to me, reminds me a lot of Hellstar, and I definitely can also be very reminded of even Omen, and to even extent even a very underground band like Attacker. It just has that kind of feel to it, especially with a lot of the dual guitar, very almost neoclassical kind of guitar soloing that definitely goes on here, which is something you all definitely would hear in Hellstar, and even to some extent, Omen. But I think that the real part, I think the Omen part really comes from our vocal and guitar player, Peter Sylvia, who definitely at times reminds me a little bit of J.D. Kimball, the late J.D. Kimball of Omen. So that's definitely one of the things. Of course, musically, definitely reminds me a little bit of Omen, mostly, not so much Battle Cry, but definitely albums like, Warning of Danger and The Curse. But I definitely do get quite a bit of Hellstar vibes off this, and mostly albums like A Distant Thunder and Nosferatu are definitely the albums that really come to mind. It definitely has that kind of feel to a lot of the music here, and especially with a lot of the rhythm section being very technical, which is always something that I got a lot of out of definitely those two Hellstar albums. It definitely has that technical vibe to it, especially, again, with a lot of the guitar playing and the rhythm section. Of course, our drummer here, Matt Fitzgerald, who, of course, is very, very much a very quality drummer here, with a lot of his footwork and everything, and the whole patterns and stuff. And the fills and that. It definitely has that kind of thing going on. So it's definitely great stuff. But again, 9 tracks here, all again just quality. The only song I think that might be not a full song is track number 7, titled "The Fox Chase," which is, I think it comes in. It's kind of the last parts for the song. What is it? Knock Nashiga, which is another great track. I mean, they're really. I can probably go in and say what are some of the best songs, but since everything just flows together and just blend very easily, it's not very. So it's a little really difficult to really kind of tell which is some of the best songs off the sound, because this is very much a very solid album. I think probably one of my favorites for sure is probably Tongue of Fire. Don't Question Master and Master of the Cosmos are definitely some of my favorites here. But even the very first track, the one that kicks it off, Surveillance, is one hell of a blistering way to really kick off the album. It's just in full throttle, and it pretty much just gives you a good idea of what you're in for with this album. It's just fantastic stuff with some fantastic musicianship and definitely some great songwriting. Definitely a solid debut, and the fact that they're on hold, it kind of sucks, because I think right now I really hope that it's only for a short live, because again, it's a solid album, and I really this stuff, I wish this will kind of just take off and everything. Is this great? And hopefully labels will look into probably releasing this physically, like maybe Shadow Kingdom or High Roller or maybe even Skull Records should probably look into definitely releasing this physically, because it's just a solid power metal album from early this year. So with that, I'll definitely leave you a link to their Bandcamp page for sure. If I hadn't stated that earlier, I will leave you a link to the Bandcamp page so you can definitely check out this album. So with that, I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope I turned you on to another band. So with that, this being the last album of the week of this year, I hope you all enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrash at Sam out. I'll see y'all later, and I hope you all have a great Christmas. Take care.